with a cause. Glue sniffer snobs, you need a punch on the nose. This one's for the good old boot boys. We're gonna carry on and make some noise.
What do you think of the fact that it's gotten to a point where public meetings are being canceled?
Well, he canceled it. You know, we should have as much dialogue and openness as possible. Have you felt the change in the tone and tenor of the feds out there? We certainly have. We used to could walk up to them and talk with the FBI agents in a friendly manner, unarmed and stuff, but the tenor has changed. They have become more hardened, and when they step out of their vehicles, now they're stepping out with their rifles, and they're not willing to engage in just friendly dialogue. And so, and then I'm assuming that you're aware of all the extra vehicles that they're bringing in and the increase in manpower that they're ramping up. And we're saying, why the rattling of the saber? Why, when we're so far away from anybody out here in the middle of nowhere, why are you ramping it up? Why do you fly your planes over nonstop? And why do you have your drones? Because they're droning this now. And they're actually flying their photographer planes. They're doing all the things. They're doing all the things that shows that they want to take some kinetic action against us. And we're saying, why be so unfriendly? Why be so threatening? Why are you threatening lethal force when we're so far away?
You really feel like they're ramping it up, that they're going to take some sort of, you said kinetic, like physical action?
All the behaviors is in the preparation of a campaign of some sort. And whether it's just a saber rattling to try to intimidate, or whether they actually mean it, we don't know. All we know is what we see. And so what you're also seeing is that's why you're seeing the uptick in the saber rattling from the feds, because they do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
Yesterday about an investigation. Have you been able to talk to the group about it?
Yeah, most of them are afraid of you guys.
They're afraid?
Yeah, they're afraid to talk to you, that all you're wanting to do is get information for them, on them.
What type of information?
Well, just like you won't give me your name, you won't give me your last name, you won't see me, you won't, visit me in person, which is actually breaking the law, 18.617, where federal officers, federal officials are supposed to disclose who they are by title and by badge and name. So, it's all kind of backwards, Chris. It's all kind of backwards.
So if you feel that, so you're telling me people are afraid to talk to us, how can we overcome that?
Well, maybe first you could come out and look at us in the eye in person. You could give us your real first name and your real last name, and you could be a true representative of the people, and that would start. That would be a great start.
That'd be, okay, so you want to know more about myself and the people that are going to be involved in it?
No, I think come out here and talk to us.
Well, I've put that up to my command, so we're working on developing some type of plan to do that.
If you wanted to present that you guys were going to do a true official investigation of the Bureau of Land Management, the Fish and Wildlife Service, the U.S. Forest Service, and others, the EPA, and you wanted to come out and present to the people of how you're going to do this and how we should trust you in this action, then I'm certain that I can have the room full and they will assist you in that. But I think it's going to take that personal touch of you guys actually not hiding behind the phones and hiding behind the guns and hiding behind the barricades. And when you do that, then they might actually have faith in you that you're going to get it done and that you're going to protect them, not harm them.
Okay. So you think like some type of public forum where we tell the people of Harney County, you think that would be helpful in looking at this?
I think they would trust you a lot more. Yeah, absolutely. So, and then they would feel like they could come out because they're wondering who's the enemy, you know, and they're worried that if they side with somebody too quickly or the wrong, that it's going to hurt them.
I hear your concerns. I will, so you can maybe some type of public forum would be a good way to address these concerns for Harney County. I'll brief that up to my bosses and see what some of the options are. We can work on that.
All right, sounds very good.
I was going to ask you something else. I'm looking at the redress of grievances.
Yes.
I want to make sure I'm looking at the right one, just so I have some type of reference point. There's a couple I've seen. I've got one dated January 8th that came out from Citizens for Constitutional Freedom. Would that be the most accurate?
Well, the date on the original one would have been in December.
Okay. I think I have that one that was posted online.
Yes.
Okay, I have that one, and then I also have another one in January. Is there, just so I know I'm looking at the right ones for references, is there going to be a difference between the two, or is there a better reference for me, or take them both independently?
I actually would take them both independent. They both have good, concerns, but a lot of them are duplicated as well. So.
I looked at the one yesterday from Citizens for Constitutional Freedom, and in the second request, there's information about misconduct about the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Yes.
And, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at a part of it that there's a concern with the U.S. Attorney's Office not providing discovery to the defense.
Okay.
Is that part of it? Are you familiar with that part?
Yeah, well, I mean, one piece of it is the trial went on for 8 days, and the prosecuting attorney presented for around 6 of those days, and the defense presented only 1 day. And there was some decisions there that did not favor, the Hammonds, and so yeah, that certainly is a concern.
I understand that part of it. What I'm looking at though, there's a statement that there's a witness that was interviewed, and the information for that witness was not provided to the defense.
That is correct.
That is correct. Is that information been presented to the Hammond's attorney?
Yes, and he will not work with us. Almost as if there's something deeper going on. Even at Susie Hammond's request, he still would not produce the documents that proved that Papagni gave him that information. Almost as if there's a protection there of attorney protection. And that's one of the pieces that we intend on pressing much harder. Also could be one of the pieces, that you guys press, because that absolutely is a concern of ours, a huge concern. That one is the evidence itself is incriminating to the Bureau of Land Management, because it's 2 witnesses that saw them start the fires around the Hammond's property when they blamed it on lightning. Second, that Papagni knew about it, knew about the witnesses, actually went to their homes and interviewed them, and then never ever were they contacted again. The witnesses were never contacted again. And then we go digging into it, and the Hammond's lawyers, basically wouldn't disclose anything.
So they didn't confirm whether they had it or not. They just wouldn't disclose anything to you.
Correct, one way or the other. And Susie Hammond requested that they disclose those things to us.
Has she got copies? Has she asked for to disclose to her? Will they not disclose that to Susie?
Susie gave basically authority to her attorneys to disclose that to us. That was done through a phone call, but so it was not done in written. But basically, Susie didn't want, client privilege to keep him from disclosing that to us. Excuse me. And so the question is still there. Did Papagni disclose that information to the Hammond's attorney or not? And if he didn't, then there's a problem there, of course. If he did, then we are wondering why in the world would the Hammond's attorney not use that information? I mean, it's so pertinent. So, just in that point alone, Chris, that's a concern we have, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's one thing I looked at for, I'm not an attorney, but, my experience working cases and discoveries, it's a responsibility for us, and it's for the prosecution. So that's something that I looked at that raised, that really caught my attention on this. It's something, it may be something they haven't got to look at for an attorney, or that's a better question for a lawyer, but that would be, that's something that's tangible, that's specific in there, that could really be talked about pretty quickly. So I just wanted to ask some questions about that to see what else was known about that.
Yeah, well, that's what I know. I did talk to the witness myself. I have his witness recorded on audio, and so, that part is solid.
Okay.
I did talk to the Hammond's lawyer, and his name is Larry Matazar. And
can I get a pen real quick, Ammon, so I know how to spell that?
sure.
It's going to be Larry. Can you spell the last name for me?
You know what? I gotta spell it out myself. It is just how you spell. Matazar. Larry Matazar.
Matazar?
Matazar.
Where is he? In Barnes, or is he somewhere else?
I am uncertain. I want to say Pendleton, but I'm not certain. It may be Bend. I really don't know where he's at.
Okay, I can try with that out. Okay, well, it sounds like we talked about you think it would be a good idea for us to talk to the people of Harney County directly to address their concerns of our being impartial about an investigation.
Absolutely.
We would have to probably talk further, and I'll go back to talk to my command about that, to see what kind of how that would work, what that would look like. Maybe we could talk again about trying to work out some of the specifics of that.
Okay, well, let me know.
Do you have time we can talk just briefly tomorrow? We can kind of catch up, try and get this thing going.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Actually 11 is probably okay again.
Okay. Well, let's plan on talking again for tomorrow.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Ammon. We'll talk to you later.
Over my shoulder is a man under a blue tarp sitting in a rocking chair with a rifle over his lap. I interviewed him under that tarp just a few moments ago, and he said,
Tony, can we get a better camera shot of that? Can your camera?
We might be able to.
It's a little more important to see that than to see you at this moment. If we could go maybe in closer on it. So there's a guy under that tarp there.
There's a 55-year-old rancher from Arizona named LaVoy Finicum. He's got 11 children. He's Mormon, and he came here because he's upset about federal control of vast stretches of land in the West. He says that there's a warrant out for his arrest. We can't confirm that, but that's what he says, and he does not plan to accept that warrant. He does not plan to come to go peaceably if the police come. He says he's not going to pull a gun on them, but if a gun is drawn on him, he's going to point back. And he quote, loves freedom too much to ever be in a cell.
He's coming out of the tarp. Let's take a look at that.
That's LaVoy Finicum right there. I don't know if we can get a shot of him.
Can we see the weapon he has?
The weapon is under the blanket. It's somebody who is not planning to move from that position, and if guns are drawn on him, he will draw a gun back. And if shots are fired, he intends to shoot back.
The information may or may not be accurate, but it appeared to be highly credible that 5 warrants were issued for our arrest for me, for Ammon Bundy, for Ryan Bundy, and I'm not sure for the other 2, and by the FBI, federal warrants. And so if that is true, if that is the case, I do not want the FBI, federal agents, have to go running around in the dark, kicking in doors looking for me, okay? I want them to know exactly where I'm at.
So if they come here with an arrest warrant and they try to put cuffs on you, what's your plan?
Well, they're not going to just come up with a guy holding a rifle and put cuffs on him, okay? They're not going to do that.
What do you think they're going to do, and what are you prepared to do?
Well, I hope that they go home. That's what I hope they do.
Let's presume that they're not. Let's presume that if there's not already a warrant out for your arrest, you are breaking the law occupying this federal property. So perhaps at some point there will certainly be a warrant. When that warrant comes down, when that arrest comes, what do you intend to do in response?
I have been raised in the country all my life. I love dearly to feel the wind on my face, to see the sunrise, to see the moon in the night. I have no intention of spending any of my days in a concrete box. And so I will, whatever days, and I believe that there'll be many, and hopefully prosperous days to come, I will spend them riding my horses, trying to take care of my cows, and that's what I will do. But I will not spend it in a box.
So to avoid getting in that box, you're ready to do what?
You guys have so many hypotheticals.
If they come here and try to arrest you, they point a gun at you, they try to put cuffs on you, how far are you willing to take this?
Well, don't point a gun at me. You don't point a gun at somebody unless you're going to shoot them. That's the first thing your thought is, hit. Don't point guns at people. And so, I'm telling them right now, don't point guns at me.
All of them had like a laser on us. They're like, turn out the car and put your head out the window and all this stuff. He's like, he put his hands out the window so they could see he didn't have a gun. He's like, but I'm not. He's like, I'm not. He's like, we're going to talk to the sheriff right now. He's like, you guys can follow us there, that's fine. He's like, but we're talking to the sheriff. He said, either you can put a bullet through my head right now and get it over with, or we're going to talk to the sheriff. And they were like, no. And so then they're like stepping it up, and a bunch more guys are coming out, and they're all pulling their guns out. And they were like, we have women in the car. We have, because there's me and this other lady in the car that I don't know real well. But we have women in the car. They said, get the women out of the car. Get the women out of the car. And they're saying they're going to shoot. And Ryan Payne was like, he was in the front seat. Ryan Payne is amazing. He is incredible. But anyhow, so he was like, he said he put his hands out the window because he was trying to talk to them. He was like, if he wanted the guy to just, he's like, I don't know if it's worth it. He's like, so he put his hands out the window and he said, we have women in the car, at least let the women get out. And he stuck his head out and they shot at him, but they missed him, or like he ducked just in time. So they didn't hit him. And then they're like, oh, they mean business. They're going to shoot us. And so Ryan decided to get out of the car and try to go talk to them. And so he gets out of the car, and then the guy tried to like talk to them. The driver was like, I'm just going to drive. He's like, I'm just going to talk to the sheriff. And he's like, so either shoot me now or leave us alone. And they were just like, turn the car off and put your hands up the window. So finally, he decided to just drive. So we all got down on the floorboard, and he took off, and then they started firing at us. They started shooting us a bunch of times, and then they had a roadblock set up, and so he ran into a snowbank, and they were like riddling the car with bullets. And then they, like when we crashed, they stopped for a second. He got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, and rest. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. They shot him like right there because he was just walking with his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God, he was just walking with his hands in the air, and they shot him. And they shot him dead. And then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times. And then they bombarded our vehicle with bullets. Ryan got hit in the shoulder. We were laying there on the floorboard screaming, and they gassed us like 5 times, and they kept trying to shoot us, and their angle was bad, so I don't know, we were praying like so hard, and we were screaming like, stop, please stop, please stop, and they were just riddling us with bullets. They kept gassing us over and over, and we couldn't breathe because of the gas, and we were trying to find something white so that we could put a white flag out, and then I was trying to see, because Ryan knew he got hit in the shoulder, and so he was like, well, I don't think it's too bad, though. So so we were just trying to find a way to get out there, and then they, hold on one second. I'm waiting for them to call me back.
Listen, Victoria, I recorded your testimony.
Oh, okay.
All right, because if anything happens to you, I think it's really important to have that.
All right.
Okay, so let's just get this clear. Mr. Finicum's hands were in the air when he was shot.
Yes.
Was he
We saw him face up. I mean, his hands were still up after he was dead.
Okay, they shot him and he went down, then they shot him again on the ground?
Yeah, they shot him like at least 6 times.
The newspaper reports are just saying that 3 shots were fired, but that's not true.
No, are you kidding me? They shot at least 120 shots probably altogether.
Okay.
They were shooting the car, and it's like a lot.
What side of the windows were the windows blown out on, the left or the right side?
Left.
Left side, okay. And
they kept hitting the right. They kept hitting the right side of the car too, but they didn't blow. Like the windows didn't come out. Like they were hitting the metal instead of the glass.
Okay. And so not one shot was fired by anybody in the car or by LaVoy?
No one even touched their gun.
No one touched their gun?
No one pulled their gun out. No one touched the gun. We had no rifles. A couple of the guys had sidearms on, but no one touched them. In fact, they had their hands out the windows to show that they were not firing. They weren't nothing.
Okay, so when
we showed no aggression at all.
When Ryan Bundy was shot, both his hands were out the window and his head was out the window?
No, at the time he was on the floor of the car because that was when they were shooting at our vehicle. We couldn't get out of the car or we would have been dead.
Right, okay. And so how many police vehicles or how many vehicles would you say were involved in this encounter? FBI vehicles, etc.?
I didn't count. I was really shooken up when they got out. But we all noted that there was like a ton of vehicles. There were, I don't know, maybe 40 altogether.
Okay.
There was tons, and there were people in the trees. Like it was an ambush. It was a set-up ambush or something because there was like people in the trees, FBI snipers, and people in the trees because we saw them. They're all pointing their. Like I had like 20 lasers on me when I was getting out of the car.
Okay. So Lloyd got out of the driver's seat and he
when he crashed into the snowbank, then he immediately got out of the car. He had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then, because he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go down. He didn't want to. But he did not. He just had his hands in the air. He's like, are you just going to shoot me? And then they just shot him.
And how many shots would you say that were fired when they shot him the first time?
The first time that he was shot.
When they shot him, did you hear multiple rounds?
Yes, I did. He got hit by several people. like simultaneous, and we were like, what? Because we couldn't believe it. It shocked us because he had his hands in the air. We couldn't believe that they were actually going to shoot him. And we were like, what? Is he dead? Is he dead? And then I was like, because we knew that he had gotten shot, we couldn't hear him, and I was like, then I screamed, I'm in him too, come out and help him, I just want to help him. And then he started firing at the car, the vehicle again, and then they wouldn't let us out. And, oh, it was so scary.
About how long would you say they fired at the car before they finally stopped?
Somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes.
Victoria, we're going to be praying for you, okay? And
right.
you know, I have this recorded because I fear for your life. I feel like if you were one of the few people, you're not under arrest, but you were a witness, a direct eyewitness to what happened. So I wanted to get this down, and I wanted to document this as well as I could. Who was driving so LaVoy was driving the car, and Ryan was in the front seat?
No, Ryan Payne was in the front seat, but during the incident, he got out. When they first stopped us, he stopped in the middle of the road and told them, we're going to talk to the sheriff, he said. And then when they fired the first shot, it was actually at that point, Ryan Payne had both his hands out the window on his head, and then they shot at him.
That was the first shot?
That was the first shot.
Okay, so...
And that's when they knew that's when we knew that they meant business, that they were serious. And then I'm talking to someone in Michigan that I live with. They're kind of recording this just in case they have. So that was the first shot, and then he ended up getting out of the car because they stopped shooting. He got out of the car, and then after we started driving again, that's when they shot. That's when they started shooting at us again. So, but we had lasers on us the whole time. They were ready to shoot.
Okay, so Ryan got out of the car. Did he ever get back in the car before he took off?
No, he was arrested, or he was taken into custody at least. I don't know if he was arrested, because all of us were taken into custody, and he was with us. Like, we all got transported together, and then they separated all of us.
And that's Ryan Payne you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, and where was Ryan Bundy?
He was in the back seat of the car beside me. I was actually... I had fallen asleep on him. I had fallen asleep on him right when we got pulled over. I was asleep, and then I woke up when the whole thing started going down.
So
he was sitting to the left of me.
Okay, so you were in the middle?
Yes.
And then the other lady...
Cox on my right.
Who was?
Shauna Cox.
Shauna Cox on your right, Ryan Bundy on your left. And you were headed to go see the sheriff?
We were going to this meeting that was going on, so all of us sheriffs were going to sing, and the sheriff was going to be there, and a bunch of ranchers. We were just going to try to talk and maybe do some negotiations, and we were going to sing. And so that was all, and then we were ambushed. I mean, it was known that we were going to go, so they probably just decided to choose that area maybe because it was really wooded and everything, and we didn't have any phone service. So.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to be up if you want to call me at any time during this, okay? Because I can't do much. I can pray for you guys, but I can also try to document as best as possible to make sure that the story is not, because right now the media is reporting that 3 shots were fired.
Oh, no, that's a total lie.
Okay.
Of course, the media is going to report that, but...
Right, well...
Are you kidding me? Have you seen the car? Have you seen the vehicle?
No.
It's completely covered with gunshots.
Well, no, they're not going to release that because they don't want
And he's probably got 6 holes in him himself.
Okay. Well, I'm just telling you, so... Now let me ask you this: do you want this story to get out?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to see how well it's turning out. I want to be able to determine if I can hear you clearly and determine, and I mean, I am willing to try to get this out there to any media outlet that I possibly can. Independent media, but I need to know, so is your family back at the refuge?
No, they're not. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Someone's calling me.
All right. Go ahead and answer.
Oh, I need to let you go.
Bye-bye. Call me back.
All right, bye.